those of us who are in support or in some instances in the land product team, such as myself, um, the way I like to look at it is that we're like the plumbers or the electricians of the grid. We try to fix things that are broken, help explain things to people, that kind of issue. But we're not the police of the grid because that is governance, and they handle things very separately from us.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on that just a little bit, I definitely, support as well as our trust and safety team. Um, we've definitely been dealing with a backlog recently, which I know even in the last meeting that I was present for, I mentioned the same thing. But one thing that I can confidently say that that backlog is being handled, and we're seeing some very, very good progress with it. So before no time, I really expect things are going to be a little bit more than how they were used, and kind of like how they were before. I definitely know tickets responses are taking some time now, and in the past it took nowhere as long as it is now. But we are working to get there, and we are going to get there again before we know it. Man, I'm breaking up. Okay, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can do something about that.
Yeah, Christaki, I know that that's certainly being looked at. So I wanted to kind of start us off today, just by saying welcome. Thank you for being here. Um, we're all glad you could be here today. We've got a few things that we're going to go over. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to uh, bring them up in voice or in chat. Either is fine. We'll try to answer all of them that we can. Um, with that, Alpha, how's the voice going? Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I think I hopefully I'm sounding a lot better. Got a wired connection going now, so things are already
Okay.
loading in quicker for me. But nevertheless, yeah, let's start this off. First thing it'd be kind of cool to bring up is the Lindex penny buy fee that we kind of had. Uh, that was last week, and so I really hope many of you were able to partake in that. It was a very limited time offer, where all Lindex dollar or all Lindex buy orders were only a penny. So it was our way of helping kind of offset some of the rough economic times we were seeing. So we're hopefully, the economic troubles we're seeing in our first life, we thought we can kind of relieve some stress for it in the second. So it was only available for 50 hours. I know some of you may not have been able to partake in it, but for the ones who were, I really hope that was something that you enjoyed. And
Oh no. Well, while he relogs, I would add also, if you did miss that promotion, um, I would recommend keeping an eye on our blog, um, just to make sure that you spot it all when it comes in. And of course, Lindex is not the only way that you can get the Linden dollars in your pockets right now. In addition to the daily streaks, the mobile Dash for Cash promotion is currently ongoing. You need to have your notifications on and use the mobile viewer to get those. Then be ready to log in as soon as you get the call and see if you can get them. We've been trying to do a lot of promotions right now and get people to see our mobile viewer. We're pretty proud of it. and we want to make sure that people get that chance to see it, try it out. And information on the mobile promotions are right there. Direct card payouts, I believe those are still forthcoming, Siviana. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I don't have any current information on it, though, unfortunately. I would also note, Bella, and maybe Alpha has more information on this too. With PayPal payments, also make sure to double check with PayPal to make sure that they're not having a problem, because they've also been seeing some issues lately. So I keep an eye out, both on our end and their end as far as PayPal is concerned.
Alrighty, I think I'm back now. Sorry about that, guys.
Yep.
Regarding the last thing I was saying, I was just finishing up. If you did end up missing the Windex penny offer that we had recently, make sure to keep an eye on our blog. I can get that link for you guys. But this is where we are going to kind of release very important information, such as events like that. And if you missed it just because you weren't aware, then this would be a great way to be notified next time. Alrighty, I do see we have a question in chat regarding the direct card payouts. So at this time, I definitely know there's some issues where even if you do live in the US or Turkey, that you are running into an issue getting to the utility end stating, I believe the error, like we are unable to complete this line. I know that some of these issues may vary, but it is something that our engineers are looking into. We don't have any ETAs on when this would be resolved, but it is 100% something we're taking a look into. Hopefully soon it will be fully resolved so that all U.S. and Turkey residents are able to use a direct bank account option for payouts. And then once that's fully resolved, we can then hopefully start pushing out to other areas and other countries. Of course, yeah, you're more than welcome.
What you got, Christaki? It's a good idea. You might want to toss that into the feedback portal. That's going to be at feedback.secondlife.com, and let them know you want it. I'm
It's
sorry
an amazing
about that.
idea, though.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping you can get some more traction on that. I would love to see something like that implemented.
I don't think it's necessarily that they get forgotten, as we get a lot of suggestions in a day, and there's only so many hours to work on them, but they get worked on eventually. I wish that things often happened a lot quicker.
I agree. I also see that we have another question right before Christaki's regarding payouts directly affecting the selling rates. I personally wouldn't see that as a direct connection, just because selling Lindens and then also another user maybe submitting a process credit request to have their funds coming back. They're not not really connected in that sense. So don't think that would be something that's affecting the selling rate. Alrighty, getting back into this though, I'm really sorry. Regarding, let's see, what else can we talk about? I know we have our Avatar Welcome Pack. I know that was something we recently implemented. This is basically a small little something that we slipped into everyone's inventory library, and the Avatar Welcome Pack, it kind of just features a lot of top name goodies for basically making a great new avatar for users who may not have some of those objects already. It's, again, intended for new users, but the rest of the body and, some other folks who may not have something similar can find a use for it, but I'm really hoping everyone was really happy with that.
Yeah, I was really excited to see that come in alpha.
Awesome.
Some really neat things that kind of caught me off guard a little bit too, even though I had a bit of an idea of what was coming. I guess while we're still talking about new fun free things, the first ever Sarah Plus quarterly gifts will come out on the 26th for all Plus Premium and Premium Plus members. This is done in conjunction with Seraphim. To collect those items, you'll go to their region, which is also named Seraphim, after noon on the 26th. And for more information, I'd recommend, again, checking out our blog at this address right here. And also don't forget, as well as that, there's still, of course, the freebies and goodies from our friends at MadP. Special hunts and things that they're doing right now, which are really quite cool. We're in the second of 2 free months of MadP Premium for all of our members. So by all means, check that out.
And then, of course, I guess, yeah, we're still talking about the news, so it leads me to start talking about SL22B. And yeah, we're finally hitting our 22nd birthday. We're going to have a big birthday event, SL22B. I think it's going to be themed Myths and Legends this year. And the theme reflects the Second Life experience because we are all heroes of our own adventures. The emphasis is on characters and stories people create in Second Life, both personally and within their communities. If you want to kind of mark your calendars, this event will be from June 20th to July 20th, and applications for volunteers, performers, and exhibitors are open now, and you can find those sign-up forms on I believe it is a news page we have, but I will get that link for you right now. That is, to answer your question, when is it going to be opening? Let's take a look here. First, actually, I'm looking at this question. The Shop and Hop app, is this like the application you're inquiring about?
I would assume.
Okay, yeah. If that's the case, then those are already open. I'm so sorry, yeah. If you visit that link, you should see the volunteer applications, performer applications, and exhibitor applications that will all close next month on the 19th. So May 19th is when these will close. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I suspect the Shop and Hop one is still forthcoming, but it should be soon.
My sincere apologies.
All good. Yeah, one of the tricky things with the birthday, it's such a big event, but we also have so many, I want to say, plates spinning, between Shop and Hop and exhibitors and performers and, infrastructure and all of that, that it's a big undertaking. I'd also, speaking of big undertakings, I wanted to mention Fantasy Fair, which is ongoing. It's really a delight for the eyes. The region builders have created a whole lot of amazing places to see, explore, and enjoy. I think they're open for a bit more. I would highly recommend taking a couple hours and go ahead and leisurely explore. The first region there is Fairlands Junction. You can start at any of their regions and travel as you please. I feel worth noting the event is a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, so consider this should you find anything you wish to purchase. Yeah, I'll send you a link here in a second. Let me grab one. There's some really just amazing looking places. Galliard, I think it's called, is well, you just want to turn off, even though it's a little laggy, you want to turn up the draw distance for that one and just really take it in because it's just this huge, huge build. Thank you, Aventra. Yeah, that's the kind of the I want to say the starting region for the event, and there's portals there that can take you to all the different regions, and there's a whole lot to see. We really support that event and everything they're doing over there, so it's a lot of fun to get a chance to take a peek. Certainly, all of us have been kind of taking a look and seeing what they're doing. Very, very impressive. Yeah, this is definitely one of the ones we do a lot of support for. Um, and Nick's, there may be other brands who might end up in there in the future. It's really hard to say.
Sorry, guys, I keep talking to a microphone that's on mute. So sorry about that. I was speaking about more just good news to share. I was wanting to speak about the new Linden home theme, which is average, and this features a beautiful modern A-frame and like cabin-style homes with a season-changing environment, which, to my understanding, is very new and very sought after because that's really cool. It's automatically changing the season, so I'm hoping others are starting to get their hands in that. These are only 1,000. Oh my, so sorry. These are 1,024 meter square homes, so they're perfect for premium members. And these join all of our other currently available home styles. I should note though, Aspen Ridge homes have been very, very popular, and we're adding as many as we can. But some may still be having trouble locating them, but hopefully we can get enough out so that everyone can have a home if they want one. And thanks to the Thousand Island Homes. I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. To the Thousand Island Homes for our Premium Plus members, and we can always watch for more. Make sure you always watch for more Linden homes every few days.
Professor, speaking on that for a second, yeah, we are starting the phased retirement of the original Nascara Linden homes, the Meadowbrook, Sharita, Suma, Tahoe Springs, and Elder Glen styles. They are no longer available in the Linden Home Selector at this point. We would like to encourage people who do have them to go ahead and look at some of the new homes that might work for them. Consider grabbing one of those. We don't have a date yet really in mind. We're kind of working towards that as far as when we will decommission those homes. The best I can say, and I know this is a Linden thing to say, is soon. But we're obviously trying to give some time for people to find a new place on their own, explore the options that are there, before we close any of the old homes because people don't want to have happen to them, I'm sure. And as far as some of the other, as far as saving some of the homes or saving some of the, especially, yeah, Cape Ecom. Cape Ecom is actually like at the top of my personal list for saving, and that has been discussed internally. So I would not be surprised to see that one saved. We may be saving some others. We'll see what happens, but it's certainly the goal is to we don't want to get rid of anything that people really do want to hold on to, like Cape Ecom. So that is being worked on. That is certainly being looked at the very least by me, because I want to make sure that that one gets saved as well. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that too, Snow Lord. Especially the Sharita Sume hub is really quite a pretty place, and the Elder Glen one as well. So we'll see. It's something that we're definitely debating internally, as far as what to keep and what maybe not to. Um, there's no decisions made at this point. None of them have, big red X's on them saying we're getting rid of this one or not. Um, but they are potentially being, some of these are being dropped. Yeah, we've got empty mainland spots, so you never know where things might show up. Um, Also, I wanted to add, for more information on both the Aspen Ridge and the retirements of the older homes, as you know me, I like to put in links to the blogs. So there's a link to the blog for that. To answer the question that came up earlier as well, yes, Aspen Ridges, we are still rolling those out. Talked about that briefly there. There are some currently available, I believe. I spent a large chunk of the morning assigning Aspen Ridge homes to people, and I did see that there were some still around. Let's say Condor Pass area, possibly Fernhaven, I'm not sure. But yeah, 49. Thank you, Bella. So there are definitely still some out there, and there will be some to come, as well as some additional Thousand Island and other pop styles as need be. Yeah, not a bad idea, Melissa. Yeah, Robin, on that, I have seen other people mention that, so that is being looked into as far as the permissions on those. So fingers crossed that something will happen on that before too much longer. Not a bad thought, Snow.
And then lastly, I believe that leads me to talk about the amazing official viewer. I'd honestly like to start off with voice, just because it's something that, being on our support team, being on the support front, I've been getting a lot of contacts about it recently, and so just kind of wanted to make a quick blurb and state, we are still working on our transition from Vivox to WebRTC. So with that does unfortunately come some issues. From one region that may have a different system set up versus the other, this can break your voice. As the reports are saying, this is not an official 100% confirmed workaround. Did work for me though when I came here, but for some odd reason, if you open up the groups tab and then you open up a group profile, you should see your voice dot reappear. Again, that's not 100% confirmed workaround, but this again sometimes can be a nice fix, just to instead of having a relog. But ultimately, while Vivox served us well over the years, WebRTC is eventually going to take that over, and ultimately, I think it will give everyone a better voice experience when it comes to voice chat. Again, unfortunately, this isn't something where we haven't set TA on when it will be resolved, but our engineers are working as hard and as fast as possible to get this fully released. Some other things we can speak about. I know regarding the last viewer update, we released volume exclusions. So if you're not familiar with this, to our understanding, this will kind of let region owners or estate managers be able to set up areas where sound can be dampened or potentially blocked. So this is going to kind of make specific areas in a region more special if you have an intended purpose for it. Maybe if you have a very loud region, you can now have some set up quiet zones for it. So this is something that's been requested for quite some time, and we're really happy that we're able to start working towards it. And then lastly, I always like to bring up an update about Project Zero. It is absolutely amazing right now in my eyes. I think the progress we are making on it is absolutely stunning. Right now, I don't think you're able to buy streaming packs just yet. I think that was a short promotion we had. I don't think we even blogged about it if you were. Actually, I think maybe we did release a blog about that, but it was very short. I think we only sold a 500 packs or something similar to that, just so that we could get some more users to come in and test it out. So I apologies, I got sidetracked. Oh gosh, I'm really bad at this. I'll be mid-sentence and totally lose everything.
Sorry, Alpha.
No, it is perfectly fine. It's a little issue I'm dealing with. But nevertheless, going back to what I last remember, regarding Project Zero, though, we did sell just a limited amount of packs just so that we could get some more users in to kind of see where some issues are laying at and kind of get some engineers to go in there and fix them. But ultimately, I'm really seeing some good progress with it, and I'm hoping that eventually we can release this so that there's no restrictions on users getting in, and that it's becoming a preferred viewer because, again, the performance that Project Zero will offer for those who may not have such an amazing machine is very, very strong, I suppose. It'll make a very big difference, though. So, yeah, I'm hoping, so you can go and check it out.
Yeah, I've talked about it before a little bit. As someone who is a veteran Second Life user, just how really exciting it is to look at it, in a browser window rather than just having to fire up a viewer and all that. It's just really neat to pop it in there and you're right there, and it's a lot quicker sometimes than what I generally have. So highly, highly, highly recommend it. And there is more stuff they're going to be doing on it here in the near future as well, I'm sure. But better than Speedlight. I'd also add, as mentioned last month, we have been doing some restoration work in the snowlands around Chalet Linden, in Wingen, Voss, Togenburg, Valmoral, up in those regions. Likewise, we've done some similar work in Sierra and Rainier and other regions in the former Team Grid copy of the snowlands. All of the chairlifts there are now in operation. We have some skating, a balloon tour, skiing, inner tubing, sledding. So please feel free to visit that. Maybe some late spring fun in the snow. I know it's a little bit late on snow fun, but it's still enjoyable. I also wanted to add that if you come across any broken or missing mainland continent, need road or rail access, or have suggestions for mainland improvements, to please, please, please use our feedback portal. That's going to be at feedback.secondlife.com, as mentioned earlier. And from there, you'll want to visit the Land and Public Works Board. Oatmeal Linden, who's sitting right over there yonder, will likely be the one who will respond to your request. And that'll go to, it depends. It'll go to Moles, or it'll go to, some of us who might, be able to do the fix. We'll see what happens. Pantera, I couldn't speak to that, but it would certainly be cool. I'm not going to say, people have been here enough have heard me say it before, never say never. Certainly the response to it so far has been very good. Much like in the past, we did do things with the cherry trees in the Sakura for cherry tree season. There was a strong response for that too. So we'll see. Certainly there's an interest. One can never have enough Linden versus Resident Snowball fights, Thunderbolt. Any other questions or comments or things you want to bring up at this point? Please, by all means, feel free.
How close is WebRTC to coming out? I know that the parts of it that work are really good, but right now I know, for instance, you can't turn individual people down, and that's, I imagine that'll be an essential feature when it hits release.
Yeah, I know that they're looking at a couple of issues right now. One of the other kind of meta issues is making sure that a sizable number of users are using the using WebRTC capable viewers. Certainly, we've seen a delay on that because of some other issues with PBR adoption, this kind of thing. So that's also kind of standing in the way. There's a couple of other minor things that they're looking at as well. I don't want to just say soon, but I would put it probably in a couple of months here. Maybe again, I'm going to spitball this because I'm not on the team that's running that, but I would expect probably around the birthday in June. Certainly the hope would be.
Yeah, you can make SL22 be a showcase for it. There you go. They're all WebRTC regions. Have fun.
That would certainly be perfect. Snowlord, there are some parts of WebRTC that need to be in the viewer in order to work. So if someone's using an earlier viewer and it doesn't have that code, it won't be able to connect to WebRTC. And I know there's some people that would really like to still be able to use voice. And not being able to use it would probably pretty seriously degrade their Second Life experience. But yeah, the viewer 7 should be fine for that, any of those. The earlier ones, not so much. I actually don't know, Melissa. That's a good question. You might want to reach out to the creator and or support people for Radagast. Speaking from a slight place of ignorance there, because I do not know about Radagast that well. Yeah, that I do know, but I don't know their support people, or if they have support people, if it's just a single creator. But you might want to reach out. Thank you, Emmy. Right. Any other questions that Alpha or I can field?
One thing I kind of wanted to just throw out there, noticed someone in chat mentioned, definitely had to wait a long time for a ticket response, and it looked to be a pretty simple issue. They just wanted their region moved to a different channel. So things like this, one thing I kind of just want to throw out there, if you own a region or you own a good amount of land and you're a concierge status user, or if you have a Premium Plus membership, please do not forget about the concierge phone line, live chat, or even if you're premium, the live chat, and then if you're Premium Plus phone lines, just because for some of these situations, yes, we may not be able to help you directly over the line, but in some of these tickets and directly in our faces, and we being able to realize, something as easy as moving it offline, moving it over to a new channel and bringing it back online, so maybe you can have some different features. It's going to be too difficult for us. Again, I can't promise it will result in same-day actions and whatnot, but in comparison to having to wait a month for something like that, I'd rather, you guys give us a call and see if it's something we can help you with a little bit quicker, because the backlog definitely causes issues like this, and we're really sorry about it.
Bella, just to follow up on that maybe earlier, I couldn't, honestly, I could not say what might go into that area. I really do not know. Not trying to be evasive or anything. It's simply I'm not aware.
And speaking of your statement, Snowlord, I really love that idea. I can already think about ways of implementing that with my experiences. So at the bare minimum, definitely make that a feature request. Maybe something along the lines where if you are logged into the viewer on your computer, if you logged in on the mobile, it kind of gives you some different options that you can still do without just instantly kicking you out, because you can't be logged into both at one time. But I genuinely think that idea can lead to some amazing. I'm happy you mentioned that. What instantly went through my mind is maybe being able to have multiple voice conversations. It may be a little chaotic, but you're speaking to someone in this region while you're in another voice chat somewhere else. That could be something useful at times, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd add just as a note on that Alpha too. Certainly, Philip Linden, our Philip Rosedale, our CTO, did some really amazing work on localized voice at his most recent project prior to Linden, and certainly he's looking at bringing some of that here. So, it might be a little bit easier to follow multiple conversations in here at some point. Find out. I'd like to toss something out here maybe for for everyone to consider cogitate on a little bit, specific to Mainland. Is there anything mainlandy that you would like to see that would interest you with Mainland? Certainly we have a lot of focus right now on our Linden Home product and our estate projects, but I'm just out of curiosity, really. Is there anything you would like to see happen there? Otoa, like automated public transportation, or I know there's a lot of people, there's groups out there that do, airplane rides and things like that. Gorgeous, more double prim mainland, kind of like Nautilus City, Bay City, all of those, and with a covenant. Interesting. Gorgeous. What if, let me just put this out here as a thought. What if, because Mainland does have a covenant now, all Mainland has a covenant. It would be nice to see, would you like to see more of a covenant in the double prim areas, like theme related or things like that? Yeah, okay, I see. Like the Belisaria one. I get it. What was it I saw up there? Let's see. Eric, you've got a lot of interesting Bay City Road connection. There is one in the works. I don't have a specific ETA on it. I know that it is being parts of it are being built in order to put that together. But there's nothing like out visible right now. Connection of Gaeta 1 to Corsica. I know that that's actually been, and Oatmeal, back me up on this. I think that you've seen some of that being discussed through the feedback portal. So, maybe there'll be something like that on the list. Yeah, and EAP. Yeah, I think there's some talk about that. A lot of that ties into, we have heard, people complaining about the basic wind light on a lot of the regions being a bit dark. That is being looked at. A lot of that's kind of, we're having to get through some of the PBR growing pains, and then we can really kind of focus on that as well. Yeah, I don't know, Ines. It's worth quite a bit to me. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Eric. I know that, yeah, orbs can be a pain point. Um, I've heard a lot about that. It's one of the reasons we've got restrictions on security on the Belisaria regions. Good point, Eventra. Eventire. However you say your name, and I'm sorry if I just mangled it 3 different ways. But yeah, that's something that we could really get in there. Eric, do you have something like that in the canny feedback? Because I like that. I'd like to make sure it's in there. Atoa, I am never given dates on when specific Linden Home regions will be open. I don't have them, unfortunately, in many ways, because I know that everyone would love to have those, least of all me. I think one of the issues with that, NS, and I'm just my thought on it, is that band lines, unless a person is explicitly banned, they only go up to 50 meters plus the ground. So if you're trying to, protect an area that's 100 meters in the sky, band lines aren't going to do anything for that. So hence people use the orbs, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending.
Regarding your question, Gorgeous, I was just doing some research about that and don't believe we have any, public facing options in order and offered to change the color of your star for being a lifetime user. But this is something not only I would advise submitting. I know I've said it a lot, but I would submit a feature request. See if you can change the color of that, and then what I'll do in the background at my end is see if this is something that we can get any more information about. Because now that after looking at this information, it's not something that's honestly been brought up before. So I want to see what options we may have when it comes to that star and the color of it. Of course.
We've got about 10 minutes or so, give or take. Any other questions, comments, things you want to bring up? Cool things that you've seen. I wouldn't mind hearing about that too. Oh, very much the same, oatmeal. One of the kind of joys of the work that I do in a given day, between assigning Linden homes to our Premium Plus members or preparing abandoned land parcels, so forth, is just getting the chance to see everything that is out there and that people are doing. That's always to me a very exciting part of this, is just being able to look at the creativity that you all are bringing to the table, rather than the projects that we might be putting out. I've long felt that we provide like the canvas, but y'all are bringing the art. You're really making the world have life and vibrance that we couldn't ever imagine. And it's just really neat from our point of view as Lindens, who are helping to provide that space to actually see just what y'all bring to the table, because it's often just so amazing. I mean, I already mentioned Fantasy Fair, which is like that to the nth degree, to look at some of those builds, but just seeing what someone's doing with their front yard in a Linden home, or the cool stuff that they're putting on their, they've come up with this really neat idea on their mainland parcel, or they've made this really gorgeous estate. It's just, for those of us who work here, that's what keeps me coming by day after day, is to actually be able to see that creativity feedback. There's some of
100%.
my feelings on what we do here. So
Oh yeah, 100%. I that is absolute facts. Nothing you said there is not true. Um, even for me, like one of my favorite, I guess support contexts is when I have to go in world, because the creations that some of you guys make, oh my gosh, I'll literally ring around the office saying, guys, come look at this. This is insane. Like, how can someone be so creative and just make something so awesome or beautiful, or whatever the case may be. It My appreciation for that is so high I couldn't even put it on a scale, and 100% makes my day when I get to come in world and see some of these creations that you guys let us see. So thank you all for that, because oh my gosh, it's amazing.
it's not actually a bad idea, Nix. Maybe something. We've done some photo things like that for the birthday events before, so maybe something like that. It's not a bad idea. Any other additional questions, comments, etc.? We've got about a little over 5 minutes. I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to, share or provide feedback to us, anything like that. By all means.
Speaking of which, I wonder what it would take to have a little, the lab is all on about using AI and all this. Well, would it be feasible? People are on about abandoned land and all that, and there are some places where, like most regions, abandoned, where a bot could look at what's on the area and go, okay, a little bit more of that were procedurally generated, so there's like something to look at while you're wandering around a big abandoned region.
That is an interesting thought, Toothless. Just I want to note, we're not necessarily all about the AI here, but we are definitely, we just had a big town hall on it to discuss kind of where our views as a company are on that, and you know, and to get feedback on that. So it's still, something that we're looking at, but we're also looking at it from an extremely cautious standpoint. Snow Lord, that's interesting. I know that oftentimes with the land team, if we're setting um, some abandoned land that hasn't necessarily been claimed, but are just setting it for sale for anyone to purchase, I know that we will often put down a for sale sign on the parcel. Would be certainly easy enough for us to put some trees and plants as well. The difficulty is that when the parcel changes ownership, who owns those plants or trees? Do they go back to us? Is someone going to be upset because they bought a parcel that had some lovely plants and trees on it and now they aren't there?
Well, if the plants and trees are owned by the lab, then I guess there's no copyright problems.
Yeah, but then there's, okay, then we're taking up some of their land impact as well. I don't know.
It's their choice to
I'm
delete it.
yeah, I'm just thinking through questions that, if I'm thinking about doing something like that, what are the questions to it? What are the concerns? Yeah, you could root it on the protected land like what we do with Linden Homes. Um, you know, Fair point, Nexie. So, I mean, it's questions to consider. So who knows? But that's just more my brain is as I start to think, okay, what do we do with that? And yeah, Robin, there is that. Certainly, I make sure that our for sale signs go away when people buy the land because nobody wants that sitting around. Nice try, Eric. We're just about at the end of our hour. I want to thank everyone for being here today. We've had some great discussions here today and a lot to think about. I greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. I hate that I wasn't here last month, but moving forward, I hope to be here, and it was a pleasure speaking with everyone. So thank you for real.
Hear, hear. Take care, all.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.